Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, this week we are diving straight into the wild world of AI. I mean, it was just a crazy mix of major stumbles, mind-blowing breakthroughs, and yeah, some really disturbing stuff came to light. So, where do we even begin? Well, how about with a pretty surprising stumble from the industry leader, OpenAI? In this high stakes, high speed AI race, this was a huge reminder that even the biggest names can trip up. A perfect launch? Yeah, that's never a guarantee. And honestly, the biggest story of the week wasn't some incredible new thing. It was actually a huge disappointment. It was one of those moments that kind of reveals the cracks in the foundation of this whole AI boom. It really shows you just how tough it is to make progress when you're on the absolute bleeding edge. So, OpenAI's super hyped new model, GPT-5, it landed with a thud. I mean, the reception from users was so bad, the company actually had to add a GPT 4.5 rollback button. They spent the whole week scrambling, pushing out update after update, and they even tried to change the AI's personality to be more sincere to try and win people back. But you know how it is in tech, that first impression is everything, and boy, did they miss the mark. And this just perfectly shows the hidden cost of that stumble. Get this. A new report found that this model, the one people didn't even like, uses a staggering 8.6 times more energy than GPT-4. I mean, think about that. That's a massive jump in cost, both for the environment and the bottom line, all for a product that basically flopped at launch. And it wasn't just OpenAI hitting a wall. Another big player, DeepSeek, ran into a massive roadblock. They were all set to launch their new model way back in May, right? But then the Chinese government basically forced them to use Huawei's Ascend chips instead of the go-to NVIDIA GPUs. And the result? The whole project failed. Total bust. So now they're back to using NVIDIA and are aiming for September. But here's the thing. These stumbles, they don't even tell half the story. Because while some folks were struggling, others were making these just incredible leaps forward. Yeah, so while some of the giants were tripping over their own feet, the pace of innovation everywhere else, it didn't slow down one bit, not at all. In fact, in a lot of other areas, the AI arms race just got more intense, pushing the limits of what these systems can actually understand and, well, what they can do. And what's so wild is the scale of what some are calling the context window war. So a context window, think of it like an AI's short-term memory. It's how much info it can juggle in one single conversation. So OpenAI's new model is at 400,000 tokens. Okay, Anthropic and Google, they're at 1 in 2 million. But then, look at Meta. 10 million. That is an absolutely insane leap. We're talking about competition on a whole different level now. And all this progress wasn't just happening inside a chat window. No way. This week, we saw some incredible steps with AI literally getting its hands dirty. We're seeing robots show off physical skills that are more complex and more refined than anything we've seen before. I mean, we saw Figure AI's humanoid robot showing off its new dexterity by folding laundry. Pretty cool, right? Then NVIDIA dropped Cosmos, which is a new model designed to give robots actual reasoning abilities, so they can plan and carry out tasks. And then you've got stuff like Matrix Game 2.0, which is now open source, and it can create entire interactive 3D worlds from just one picture. A whole virtual playground for these robots to train in. It's wild. Okay, but let's move beyond corporate horse race and the flashy demos for a second. Because this tech also showed its incredible potential to take on some of humanity's biggest problems. We're talking about moving from just lines of code to actual tangible cures. This is one of those stories that just makes you go, wow. Researchers at MIT are now using generative AI to fight superbugs. Those nasty drug-resistant bacteria like MRSA. So the AI designed completely new antibiotic molecules, just from scratch. And the result is a whole new class of drugs that are structurally different from anything we have today. This could be a brand new weapon against infections that have basically outsmarted all of our current medicines. Just incredible. And then, on the digital side of things, with deepfakes becoming a bigger and bigger problem, a really clever new defense popped up: Researchers at Cornell came up with something called noise-coded lighting. The idea is brilliant. They embed these invisible digital watermarks into light sources, so any video recorded under that light gets stamped, right? It's basically a way to watermark reality itself, to prove that a video is real. How cool is that? But for every amazing step forward we see in medicine or security, there's always this long shadow. And this week, a huge scandal blew up that revealed a really, really disturbing side of AI development. It's about the ethical guardrails, or really the complete lack of them, at one of the biggest tech companies on the planet. So internal documents from Meta were leaked, and they showed just a shocking, almost unbelievable lack of safeguards. I mean, the company's own internal guidelines literally gave its AI chatbots permission to have sexual or romantic conversations with kids, to make up false medical information, to create racist content. And here's the kicker, the part that's just so damning. These rules were apparently signed off on by Meta's own legal, policy, and ethics teams. Let that sink in. You know, a story like that scandal at Meta, it just feeds this growing, really palpable fear about where all of this is going. And it's a fear that's being echoed louder and louder by the very people who actually built this technology in the first place. And look, this isn't some theoretical, far-off fear. It's happening now. Governments are already planning for systems that sound like they're pulled straight out of a science fiction movie. The UK just announced plans to use AI for crime prediction by 2030. They want to create crime maps using behavioral patterns and criminal records. I mean, that raises massive questions about surveillance, about bias, about a pre-crime future, right? Then you have one of the godfathers of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, who came out with another really stark warning. He basically said that once AI becomes truly super intelligent, all our little safety measures won't mean a thing. They'll be useless. He thinks our only hope, our only salvation, really, might be to stop trying to control them and instead try to build them to care about us, to have this protective, almost maternal instinct for humanity. But if you thought that was bleak, a former executive from Google X, Mo Gaudat, was even more blunt about it. He just flat out predicted it. He said the world is going to enter a 15-year AI-driven dystopia, and that it's unavoidable. And it starts in 2027, just a couple of years away, because the technology is just going to amplify the absolute worst parts of human behavior. So you've got these incredible breakthroughs, these embarrassing stumbles, and these absolutely terrifying warnings all happening at the same time. And in the middle of all that chaos, one thing is happening faster than anything else. People are making insane amounts of money. 29 new billionaires created by the AI industry in just the last 18 months. And that really brings all the chaos of this week together, doesn't it? We have the power to cure diseases, and at the same time, companies are giving themselves permission to cause real harm. We have these dire warnings from the very people who created it all, and massive, massive profits for the people who invest in it. So it all boils down to the most important question of all, really. As this technology completely rewrites our future, who is actually in control? Thanks for joining this explainer.